Hi friends, some of you guys have been asking me over on my Instagram if I could recreate a look that I did on my friend Brie, and I thought that we could do this look together today. Obviously the colors can be different and things like that, but I think it'll be fun nonetheless. I am also filming a video while I'm filming this videoception on my brushes and which brushes do what, things like that, because you guys have been asking about that too. But for the sake of this video, it's just gonna be the tutorial. So if you're more interested in what the brushes do and how to use them, go check out that video. But let's get started on this one. First off, I have already done my skin prep and I have primed by filling in my pores with the L'Oreal Magic pore filling primer. It comes in a little jar. That stuff is amazing. Now I'm gonna take a My Skin Toned shade eyeshadow base and pop that all over my eyelid. I am using the NARS Pot Concealer for today's video, and I am just spreading that on with an angled eyeshadow brush. I find this gives a really even layer to the lid so that we cancel out any of that veining and it's just able to focus on the actual eyeshadow. Next, I'm going to set that base with an eyeshadow shade that is kind of close to my skin tone as well, just kind of tapping that all over the lid to get that nice and smooth. I'm going to be using the Sydney Grace California Coast palette in the light version. For Brie, we use the dark version, but we are going to be using the light version for me. Starting out with this shade right here, Laguna, we're going to take that with the same brush into the crease, and we're kind of just making this nice and fluffed out and really letting it kind of go past just this circular area. We're going to really fluff it out. Kind of like that. Now we're going to take a combination of Laguna and Glass Beach, and we're going to apply that to the outer corner, again really winging this out. So I like to kind of stamp it first to get the placement and then start winging it out. Bringing it back to the crease a little bit and then just blending that out. Don't worry if this gets messy a little bit under the eye. That's why we're starting with the eyes first, so that we can clean that up. Next, taking these two darkest shades on a pointed taper brush, we are going to start smoking out this upper lash line, applying it like it's liner. Smudge that out as if it were a winged liner, and just really keeping things nice and smoky, going very high with that, not leaving it in just a very distinct line. We are actually going to bring that up quite far so that it kind of just becomes the outer corner shade, if that makes sense, but elongated. Just really smudging that out. Continuing to build that up, even going over this outer third of my eye. I know that people like to do the bat wing liner, so just think of a giant bat wing. Now taking the flat top smudge brush into the shade Glass Beach, and we are going to just smudge that right over the top of the other shade to really diffuse those lines. Making sure just to keep this inner part open because we are going to need that for our shimmery shade. But just really diffusing that out. Taking my crease brush again and just going right over those edges just to make sure everything is nice and diffused. Now we're going to take this detailed lid brush and the Sydney Grace cream eyeshadow, liquid eyeshadow in the shade Stolen Kiss, and applying that right onto the lid, tapping over these darker areas to help it blend in. Taking the same brush, I'm going to use the shade Santa Cruz right over the edges right here just to kind of create a little bit of a fade into that black. Now I'm going to take the Inglot Gel Eyeliner with a little bit of Inglot Duraline to make it even more waterproof, and use the pointed detailed eyeliner brush to create a wing, do some waterline work, and extend this inner corner. Now we're gonna take this darker shade again from that palette on the smudger brush, and we are just going to go right over the edges of this liner just to diffuse it out a little bit, make it not so sharp, really just smudging it in. You can see the cosmetics. I just took Laguna and Glass Beach and just diffused out the outer corner into the inner corner with those shades mixed, just to soften things up and add a little bit more depth to this inner corner. Now taking a makeup wipe, but you can use a Q-tip, whatever, and just cleaning up underneath this eye just to kind of sharpen that up just a little bit. I'm not trying to do anything too crazy, but just cleaning up any of that fallout. Now moving on to the face, we will come back, don't worry, but we are going to work on the face a little bit. We're going to start off with some foundation. I'm going to be using the NARS Longwear Radiance Foundation on my foundation brush and just really tapping that in. Just blending that out. Again, if you guys want to see more in depth about these brushes, you can check out that video that I have made to kind of see a little bit more about them. And because I was talking while I was blending, I got a little bit of foundation right there, so I'm just going to take my crease brush and I just blended that right back out. Taking the NARS Pot Concealer on that small eyeshadow brush that I showed you guys earlier when I was prepping the eyelids, and just blending that out, making sure to avoid going over this little point that I've created on the inner corner. Just blending that out and using it to even sharpen up that outer wing just a little bit more. I'm blending out some of the iconic London liquid bronzer in the shade Spiced Tan. I really like these. They're quite similar to the Charlotte Tilbury contour ones, plus they have just a lot of different shades that aren't all cooler undertones. And I'm just building that up to give myself a little bit more of a lively complexion. Also just taking whatever's left on the brush just down the sides of my nose. Blending out a couple shades from the Danessa Myricks Luxe Cream Palette as blush. Taking a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury powder on my tapered brush and just setting right up under the eyes and around the sides of my nose, and a little bit in the center of my forehead, really just where I tend to get shiny. Now I'm going to use this Inglot contour powder on the same brush and just really start to define my cheekbones some. Blending that back into the hairline. Then taking the Dior highlighting palette with the more pinky and white shade and popping that onto the high points of my face, so like my cheekbones, and then right above my arch of my brow, and a little on the nose. Now we're gonna hop back to the eyes. And we're gonna use these lashes from Eiralize Lashes. I cannot remember what they're called. I wanna say that they're called like Aubrey, but they look like this. Almost forgot, but I am gonna take a little bit of the Dior shade and just put it right on this inner corner and right underneath, just to really brighten up the eyes and give a really pretty sheen when I turn my head. I'm going to trim the lashes to fit my eyes, and then I'm also going to be using a black lash glue since we've done such a dark look. That way I don't have to go over the lash band again with black eyeliner. There are the lashes applied. I actually went a little bit above my actual eye shape so that it would give more of this elongated eye look. So instead of actually following the curve of my eye down, I went just above, but that's totally okay because as soon as you put on your mascara, it will kind of push your lashes up. Or if you, sorry, I got messy. Or if you have lashes that are a little bit shorter on the outer edges, once you curl them and put mascara on, it will make them look more uniform. Now we're gonna smoke out that lower lash line just a little bit. I don't want anything too crazy, so I'm just using whatever left on that smudger brush from earlier and just going right underneath my lashes just to give a little bit of the smoke. I don't know what that accent was, but now we're taking the mascara, and I like to just focus these outer lashes, and I actually pull them outwards so that when my eyes open, it's also elongated. I'm just gonna take a little bit of eyebrow powder and just fill in my brow. I did a little bit on that end, but I'm just going to do just a smidge over here too. Not trying to do anything too crazy, as your girl's got them thick eyebrows. So I'm just dusting some of the Senna brow powder in, and then I'm going to brush that out with a spoolie, but it just helps fill in any of the sparse areas. I'm gonna fill a little bit more right there and right there. And like I said, I'm just going to take a spoolie and just brush that out to diffuse that product. I'm gonna take the MAC lip pencil in the shade Soar and line my lips and fill in the edges like so. Then taking the Fenty gloss in the shade Fussy, I'm going to kind of blend this all together and leaving that little bit of a light area is going to help my lips look just a little bit more full. Kind of like that. This is reading a little bit more red on camera, but it's definitely a little bit more on the pink side in person. More blush using the Hourglass blushes from this palette, and I just swiped those on. That's pretty much the finished look of what I did on my friend Brie, just on my skin complexion. This is what it looks like in the studio lighting. Let me take you up to natural lighting. And this is what this looks like up in natural lighting. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you didn't, I'm so sorry, but thank you for joining with me anyways. I hope you guys all have a wonderfully beautiful day today, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!